I switched my sister's baby at birth. Even now, I don't feel bad. I've never told anyone this. Not my friends, not my therapist, not even in some locked, anonymous journal. I switched my sister's baby at birth. And I don't feel guilty. Not even a little. Let me explain. My sister Emily and I are only 2 years apart, but it always felt like she lived in another universe. She was loud, magnetic, selfish. Everyone adored her for it. I was the opposite. Quiet, reliable, forgettable. We were raised by the same parents, but I was the janitor for her disasters. Every time she crashed and burned, I had to sweep up the ashes. Once, when she stole our mom's credit card to buy concert tickets, she blamed me. I still remember the yelling. Why would SHE need front row tickets to Fall Out Boy? Look at her. Emily said, standing in the kitchen, eyes wide and fake hurt. Is that true? Mom turned to me. You've always had trouble being honest. That was just how it always went. It didn't matter what Emily did. I got the fallout. Fast forward a few years. I'm 24, single, barely scraping by. Emily's 22, married to a guy named Brian, and pregnant by accident. Oops, she said during our family dinner. Guess someone forgot to take their pill. She laughed, digging into mashed potatoes like she hadn't just dropped a bomb. Brian wasn't thrilled. Neither was she really. One night, I stopped by her apartment to drop off a care package. She was 5 months along. She was on the couch with wine. Wine. Emily, I said, lowering my voice. You can't drink while you're pregnant. She rolled her eyes. It's 1 glass. The French do it all the time. You're not French. Oh my God, you're such a buzzkill. It's my baby. I'll raise it how I want. That stuck with me. It's my baby. I'll raise it how I want. It chilled me. She went into labor 2 weeks early. Of course she demanded to give birth at the private hospital. The one where I worked part-time in admin and patient liaison. By complete coincidence, I was on shift that night. There were 2 baby girls born that hour. Emily's and another woman's, Gabriella, visiting family from out of state. Same hair, same weight, same skin tone. Practically clones. Around 4 a.m., both babies were brought into the nursery for monitoring. The nurses were exhausted. The ID tags were handwritten. I stood at the viewing window, staring through the glass. One nurse turned to me and said, God, I need coffee before I swap these babies by accident. She laughed. I didn't. Instead, I waited. 10 minutes later, when everyone was busy charting vitals and prepping charts, I walked into the nursery like I belonged there, because I did. 2 bassinets. 2 sleeping infants. 1 choice. I reached down, swapped the tags. Shoo, I whispered to both of them. You'll be better off. Then I walked away. Emily named her daughter Ava. Gabriella named her Sophia. Ava came home to a storm. Emily's divorce was underway. Her drinking hadn't stopped, and she constantly dumped the baby on our parents. Ugh, she'd groan, handing Ava off to me. She cries every time I hold her. Take her. And Ava would calm instantly in my arms. She bonded with me, not with Emily. She'd reach for me, crawl toward me, fall asleep curled against my chest. Why does she like you so much? Emily once snapped. I don't know. I lied. Babies sense who's safe, I guess. Meanwhile, Gabriella moved back to Oregon. I kept tabs through social media. Sophia was wild, defiant, always covered in dirt and scrapes. Once Gabriella posted a video of her shouting at a daycare worker and storming off. She was 5. Emily in miniature. Every year, I brace for the moment someone finds out. When Ava needed a blood test at 6, I panicked. The results came back normal. No flags. No one questioned a thing. Sometimes Emily jokes about how Ava isn't like her. She's so soft. Too soft. She cries at Disney movies. Maybe she's just kind, I said. Emily rolled her eyes. Ugh. If she wasn't a clone of me, I'd swear they gave me the wrong kid at the hospital. She laughed. I didn't. Ava is 9 now. She's bright, empathetic, loves art and animals and asking questions like, why do some people act mean when they're scared? She doesn't know I'm not just Auntie. She doesn't know that the woman who gave birth to her treats her like a chore. She doesn't know she was supposed to grow up in chaos. And every time I look at her, I think, I gave her an out. I gave her a chance. And maybe that makes me a monster. But Ava smiles in her sleep. She knows she's safe. She knows she's loved. That has to count for something. Follow-up. My sister still doesn't know I switched her baby. But now Ava's asking questions. It's been a little over a year since I wrote my original post, the one where I confessed that I switched my sister's baby at birth. Emily raised a stranger's child, a little girl named Ava, who was supposed to go home with a woman named Gabriella. And Gabriella's biological daughter, Sophia, was raised across the country, never knowing the truth. I said back then that I didn't regret it, that I still don't feel bad. That part? Still true. But lately, I'm starting to feel something else. Not guilt exactly, more like fear, because Ava's starting to ask questions. And I don't know how much longer I can keep this secret buried. She's 10 now, sharp as ever, quieter than most kids, but always watching. She doesn't miss a thing. Last month, she stayed over at my place for the weekend, like she always does when Emily gets overwhelmed, which is code for hungover, dating someone new, or just doesn't want to parent. We were baking banana muffins when she turned to me, serious-faced, and said, "Auntie, do you think I look like Mom?" I froze. What do you mean? Everyone says I do, but I don't really see it. And I don't feel like her kid, you know? My heart skipped. Why would you say that? I asked, trying to sound casual. She shrugged. She doesn't like anything I like. She gets mad when I cry. She says I'm too soft. She paused, then added, "Sometimes I think, maybe I belong in someone else's family." I laughed it off, lied, changed the subject. But inside I was spiraling. Because she's right. She does belong in someone else's family. And she's smart enough to feel it, even if she doesn't understand why. Emily, unsurprisingly, is oblivious. She's more interested in her Instagram than her daughter's emotional needs. She still calls Ava dramatic for crying during Pixar movies. She groans when Ava wants to bring home stray animals. She rolls her eyes when Ava wants to draw instead of play Roblox. She's like a Disney orphan, Emily once said to me, always with the big sad eyes. I swear she does it on purpose. I bit my tongue. You don't deserve her, I wanted to say. You never did. Last week, Ava found a photo in my office drawer, one I didn't even remember I still had. It was a printed screenshot. One of Sophia, the real biological daughter Emily gave birth to. I'd saved it from Gabriella's Facebook years ago and stashed it away like a ghost I couldn't delete. "Who's this?" Ava asked, holding it up. My stomach dropped. "Just an old friend's kid." I lied. She squinted at it. "She looks like Mom." I stayed silent. I didn't even know what face to make. She looked at the photo again. "She looks like me too, but also not." And then softly, "Is there something you're not telling me?" I couldn't breathe. Since that day, I've hidden every trace of Sophia, deleted the saved photos, locked the old journals, double-checked Ava's search history when she's on the iPad. But she's still asking questions. About who she looks like. About her baby pictures. About the hospital. And worst of all, she asked me if we could take one of those DNA test kits for fun. I smiled. I said we'd think about it. But inside, I was screaming. I thought I could take this secret to my grave. I thought no one would ever know. That Emily was too self-absorbed to question it. And Ava would grow up quietly, grateful, safe. But kids grow. They get curious. They feel things. Ava was always sensitive. And now she's tuned into the quiet wrongness no one else ever saw. I don't regret saving her from the life she would have had. But I never planned for the day she'd come looking for the one she lost. I don't know. I keep playing out every version of this ending. I lie. Tell her she's overthinking. That families are about love, not DNA. Hope it's enough. I confess. Burn every bridge. Risk losing her forever. Destroy Emily's world. Drag Gabriella into a nightmare she never asked for. I wait. Do nothing. Let her find out on her own. Hope she forgives me when she pieces it together in 10 years. None of it feels safe. None of it feels kind. All I know is this. The baby I saved is old enough now to start saving herself. And she's heading straight for the truth I buried 10 years ago. Final update. My niece took a DNA test. Now everyone knows I switched her at birth. It's done. The thing I thought I could bury forever. The secret I thought I could manage, contain, justify. It finally erupted. And now? There's no going back. I said in my last post that my niece Ava was starting to ask questions. That she was getting older. Smarter. Curious. I should have known it wouldn't stop at questions. Because kids don't just wonder anymore. They Google. They download apps. They order DNA kits with their birthday money. That's exactly what she did. 2 weeks ago, Ava was at my place for the weekend. Emily was too busy. Code for sleeping off whatever mess she'd created with her new boyfriend. We were making popcorn and watching a movie when she said, "Oh, I did something. Promise you won't get mad." I braced myself. Broken item? Secret pet? Hidden phone? I took one of those DNA tests. My chest went cold. What? One of those swab kits? You spit in a tube. It's not a big deal. Where did you even get that? I used my debit card. Mom never checks. I wanted to see if I was part Irish like Grandpa says. She smiled. Innocent. Proud. I smiled too, but it felt like my bones were cracking. When did you send it in? 2 weeks ago. And when do you get the results? They emailed me this morning. She ran to grab her tablet. I prayed, actually prayed, that she wouldn't understand what she was reading. But of course she did. She pulled up the report. Her biological matches. There's a woman on here named Gabriela Martinez. It says she's my mother. Like 99.9999% match. She looked at me, eyes wide. Who is that? I couldn't breathe. My ears rang. My mouth moved before I could stop it. That's a mistake. No, it's not. I Googled her. She lives in Oregon. She has a daughter who looks just like Mom. And then she looked straight at me, voice shaking. What did you do? I didn't plan it. I didn't have a speech. I didn't know how to soften something like this. So I told her. Everything. The hospital. The other baby. The name tags. The lie. The reasons I told myself. The justifications. The years of pretending. The photos I kept. The guilt I didn't feel. I told her that I did it for her. That I gave her a better life. She stared at me like she didn't recognize me. You lied to everyone. She was crying. Quietly. Angry, but not loud about it, which made it worse. You let me think she was my mom. I had to. No, you chose to. You chose for me. That was the last thing she said to me before locking herself in the guest room. She told Emily the next day. I didn't stop her. I didn't need to, because Emily showed up at my apartment 2 hours later, pounding on the door like she was going to break it down. You crazy ing psycho. I didn't even argue. She screamed, sobbed, threatened to call the police, said I stole her child, said I ruined her life, said she knew something had always been off but didn't think I'd go this far. You didn't ruin my life, you ruined hers, she shouted. Do you know what it's like for a kid to find out their whole identity is fake? Then she spit at my feet and left. She hasn't spoken to me since. Gabriela knows now too. Ava emailed her. I don't know what they've talked about. I haven't asked. But Gabriela posted a photo last week, her and Ava in Oregon. Together. Hugging. Smiling. Awkward but real. I'm not blocked, but I haven't reached out either. I wouldn't know what to say. Ava didn't come back to my apartment after that weekend. She hasn't answered my texts. Not one. No one's pressed charges yet. Maybe because it's been over a decade. Maybe because no one wants this story in a courtroom. Maybe because Emily's too embarrassed to explain how she didn't notice for 10 years. I lost everyone. My parents won't speak to me. They said I broke something too big to fix. Ava was the one good thing in my life. And I gave her the truth, finally, and it took her away. I wrote the first post like a confession, the second like a warning. This one, this is a funeral. For a bond one destroyed. For the love I broke. For the story I tried to rewrite, only to have it collapse in my hands. I said I didn't regret it. And in a strange, stubborn way, I still don't. Ava's with the family she was meant to have. She'll ask hard questions. She'll process the betrayal. But at least it'll be her truth now, not mine. But I do regret thinking I had the right to choose it for her. If you're reading this, and you've got a secret you think you can manage forever, you can't. Not with time. Not with love. Not with good intentions. The truth always finds its way home. And when it does, it might take everything with it.